Hello and welcome. So today, guys, I have for you 10 fragrances that are not only perfect for the summer season, but that are also long-lasting fragrances. I'm sure that you would agree with me that it is kind of difficult to find a fragrance that performs really well when the temperatures go way high. I don't know what is it about the warm weather, but it does do something to our fragrances. So today, as I said before, I am going to be sharing with you 10 fragrances. And these fragrances are fragrances that I've had the opportunity to use in one or more summer seasons. So I can assure you that they do perform very well. But before we jump right in, if this is your first time here, I'm Arahi, and I'm your fragrance concierge because I am totally committed to creating the best fragrance experience for you. I upload videos on Tuesdays, Thursdays, Sundays, and sometimes you even get a bonus video for the week. If that sounds like the type of content that you're interested in and like a good plan, then please consider subscribing. Give this video a thumbs up and don't forget, leave a comment. Let's go. So the first fragrance that I want to share with you today is Frederic Malle's Synthetic Jungle. Now this is a fragrance, guys, that I absolutely love for the summer season because it is really green. So this is one of those fragrances that in order for you to really enjoy it and appreciate it, you have to love a really green fragrance. Because when I tell you this one is green, it's not a touch green, it's not a tad green. No, this is a fragrance that honestly, it almost smells like, it almost smells like grass, and not like when they're freshly cutting your grass or when your grass has just been cut. No, this is a fragrance that just smells like grass. But also this is a lovely fragrance because it has some white florals. It's also fresh, spicy. It is very aromatic. It is also kind of fruity, and it's just a delight of a fragrance for the summer season. This is a fragrance that, of course, as all of the fragrances that I'm going to share with you today, performs really well. But I love to wear this fragrance for daytime casual occasions, even though this is a fragrance that you can use anytime. When we talk about a fragrance that really performs well during the summer season, I tell you, this one is right up there because this is a fragrance that without having to overspray will easily get you 10+ hours. This is truly a beast mode fragrance, and it is one that I don't recommend that you overspray. This really is a lovely fragrance, but again, I have to caution you and remind you that you must love a green fragrance. While this fragrance does get you 10+ hours without needing to overspray, it will also give you a very strong projection during the first 2 to 3 hours. This is truly a fragrance that I really believe that you will enjoy, as it has a very nice combination of white florals and some fruity notes, and then of course that green quality, all on a background of some woody notes. So the next fragrance that I want to share with you is Canto's Strychnina. Now this is a fragrance, guys, that is your perfect fruity fragrance for the summer. This is a fragrance that does have some citrus notes, but it is primarily all about those fruits. And the fruits do make the fragrance quite sweet, but not like cloying or anything like that. But this is a very sweet fragrance. It also has like a beautiful tropical quality, so it makes it quite a versatile fragrance because not only can you use it for more of a dressy occasion, but you can also use it like for a very casual type of event. This fragrance, as I said, is very sweet. Is sweet, it's fruity. It has a tad of greenness, and it does have quite a number of citrus notes that do give it that fresh quality. It's also very aromatic, and like I said, it definitely does have a tropical feel to it. But all in all, guys, this is a fragrance that I think is just perfect for the summer season, and what I love the most, of course, is how it performs. This is a fragrance that without having to overspray will definitely get you 8+ hours. But what I love about it is that it gives you a very strong projection during the first 2 hours, after which it becomes a scent bubble. And that scent bubble will carry with you for most of the wear of the fragrance. In addition to that, the sillage is more than moderate, so this is a fragrance that will definitely get you compliments. It is an absolutely exquisitely done fragrance that does focus on some fruity notes, some citrusy notes, and it is definitely aromatic. I absolutely love this fragrance, and I think that it is best used for any occasion, day or night. Now, this next fragrance that I want to share with you is one that it is, when I tell you guys, full on beast mode. It is easily one of the best performing fragrances from this entire group of already very, very well performing fragrances. And I'm speaking about ELECTIMUS TRAJAN. So this fragrance, guys, is very, very citrusy. It almost borders to the point of being considered kind of like a freshie, but honestly, guys, it is such a beast mode fragrance that I don't think I could ever call it a freshie. But it does open, and all throughout the olfactory journey, it is quite citrusy, and it is definitely fresh spicy. This fragrance is also woody. It has like a touch of an animalic quality to it, but don't be concerned because that tad animalic quality just adds character to the fragrance. Because this is a fragrance that otherwise would pretty much be considered a freshie, even though it is beast performance. So speaking about performance, I can tell you that this is a fragrance that gets me 10 plus hours consistently. And it is one that if you spray it on your clothes, it'll be there for days or until you launder them. As far as florals, this is not so much about the florals. It's more about the citrus notes and those woody notes and that fresh, spicy quality. But I can tell you that it also has a note of lavender, and the lavender here has been done beautifully. The lavender that I find here kind of a little bit reminds me of the lavender that you find in Burberry Goddess. So the next fragrance that I want to share with you is a fragrance that is not a new fragrance, because most of the fragrances that I'm sharing with you today have been launched between, I would say, 2021 and 2024. But this one is a fragrance that honestly, it's a masterpiece. And everybody, I think for the most part, has heard about this fragrance. And I'm speaking about Creed AVENTUS for Her. This is a fragrance. This is my second bottle of Creed AVENTUS for Her. And I can tell you that this fragrance is perfection for the summer. If you have Creed AVENTUS for Her, can you let us know your opinion in the comment section, because this is truly a summer fragrance and the way that it performs. This is a very elegant and sophisticated fragrance. But when I say elegant and sophisticated, I don't want you to think that this is a fragrance that is best suited for someone who is really, really mature. No, this is a fragrance, guys, that will make you feel and look, and everything about it is just so exquisitely done. It is an incredible combination of floral, citrusy notes, fruity notes, woody notes. It's also aromatic. It is just honestly a masterpiece of a fragrance. It also has a touch of greenness, and at the dry down, you're going to get a full-on powdery fragrance. But is it like super ultra powdery? No, because there is a freshness to this fragrance that I really just can't even explain, because it has such a complex note structure, right? Like it has a little bit of everything, but at that it remains fresh all the way from your first spray all the way to the entire wear of the fragrance. This is a fragrance that, even though it's been around for quite a while, and I mean, just about everybody's aware of Creed AVENTUS for Her, it still gets me a ton of compliments. This is a consistent compliment getter. This is also a fragrance that, without having to overspray, will get me 8+ hours, has a very strong projection during the first hour and a half, after which it does become a skin scent. But that skin scent is a strong skin scent, because you will be getting whiffs of yourself all day. As far as sillage, this fragrance does have a moderate sillage, but it is a sillage that trails behind you for about 2 feet. And of course, I did say that you are going to get a ton of compliments, so that should tell you alone how great of a sillage this fragrance has. I tell you, when it comes to perfect summer fragrances, to me, Creed AVENTUS for Her is like a classic. It is a fragrance that I plan to have in my collection forever. So something that I think you will find in all of the fragrances that I'm sharing with you today is that they all have like this fresh feel to them. Because, you know, during the summer, I think that's what we all want to feel. We want to feel clean, and we also want to feel fresh because of those warm temperatures. But the next fragrance that I'm going to share with you is one that is focused on white florals. And you may say, white florals for the summer when it's really, really hot outside, is that wise, Arahi? Well, I'll tell you, this fragrance, even though it has a ton of white florals, has a freshness to it that it is just perfect for the summer season. It is also a fragrance, of course, that performs really, really well. And I am speaking about XERJOFF's ACCENTO Overdose. Now, this is a fragrance, guys, that in addition to those white florals, it has some fruity notes, it has some greenness to it, and it's not a touch of greenness. There is a greenness in this fragrance that you're definitely going to pick up on. There's also a beautifully done rose, and this rose is not a mature rose. This is like a freshly bloomed rose. I tell you, there is nothing in this fragrance that doesn't contribute to that feeling of freshness for a very, very warm summer day. It is also quite aromatic and has a certain degree of woodiness that adds character and oomph to the fragrance. But I tell you, this is a fragrance, guys, that performs beautifully because without having to overspray, I do get 8+ hours. And if I overspray, it does take me to the 10-hour plus mark. And this is also a fragrance that will give you a very, very strong projection during the first 2 hours, after which it becomes a scent bubble. And that scent bubble will carry on for about an additional 3 hours, after which it does become a skin scent. This is a fragrance that will get you a ton of compliments because the sillage is definitely above moderate. And it is a fragrance that, I don't know, for some reason creates quite a bit of conversation whenever I wear it and someone asks me what I'm wearing. It is one of those summer fragrances that, while not smelling directly like just fruity and, you know, and things that we typically pick up for, you know, the summer season, like citrusy notes, some aquatic quality, while not having necessarily any of that, this is a fragrance that you can use day or night and for any occasion, but which is also perfect for any formal events that you may have inside or outside during the summer. The next fragrance that I want to share with you is Perfumes de Marly Valaya. And I'm sure that you have heard about this fragrance because this is one of those fragrances, especially from Perfumes de Marly, that we all know is perfection for the summer season. I tell you that for me, this is one of the best musky fragrances that you could pick up for the summer. This fragrance is also woody, ambery, fruity, and floral. But it is such a fresh fragrance. It has a ton of citrus notes and you can't mistake them. You're going to pick up on all the citrus notes of this fragrance. But when I tell you guys, this fragrance is just such a perfect, beautiful fragrance for the summer. This is one that I love to pull for special events or special occasions during the summer season. But don't be mistaken, this is definitely a fragrance that you can dress down, you can dress it up, and you can wear it day or night. Valaya is one of my highest compliment getting fragrances with a very strong sillage that probably trails behind you for about 4 feet, if not more. This is a fragrance that when you pass by a group of people will definitely leave that trail that will have them following you, asking you what you're wearing. Without having to overspray, this fragrance gets me 8+ hours consistently, and it does have a very strong projection during the first 2 hours. This is a fragrance that honestly I plan to have as part of my collection forever because it is truly perfection for the summer, and I also like to pull it for the spring season. The next fragrance that I want to share with you is from Fragrance du Bois, and it is Oud Orange Intense. This is a fragrance that I like to reserve more for like special occasions during the summer season because this is a smooth and beautifully elegant fragrance. Although it has oud, the oud here is so smooth, guys, and has been blended so perfectly. So this fragrance is sweet and fruity and has a ton of vanilla. But what you will really find amazing is the note of coconut, because it's like a note that you're not expecting to find in this fragrance. And although it has oud, the oud has been done very, very smoothly, but it is definitely a note of oud that you can pick up on, but it's not something like very intense. This fragrance is also quite musky, and it does have a powdery dry down. And the most interesting part about it is that it's also a tad lactonic, but it's not something, to be honest with you, that I picked up on immediately when I started to use this fragrance. It took me a couple of uses to really understand, oh, that I'm picking up on is a bit of like a lactonic quality to the fragrance. There's an inherent creaminess to the fragrance, and I think it's because of the coconut. This is not the type of fragrance that I would use to go to the gym or to do something like around sports, but it is definitely a fragrance that you can dress down and you can dress up. But for me personally, I like to save it for special events during the summer season. They don't necessarily have to be anything formal or a wedding or anything like that, but definitely a special type of event. This is also one that performs very, very well because this gets me 8+ hours without having to overspray. The next fragrance that I want to share with you today is NISHANE's Ani X. Now, Ani X was just launched last year in 2023, and it's supposed to be a flanker from the original Ani that we all love. But I have to tell you that I am so in love with this fragrance. I actually prefer this one than the original. It is very, very citrusy, warm, spicy. It has a bit of an aquatic quality to it, and it does have a good bit of vanilla. But this fragrance does not center around the vanilla. I would say that those citrusy notes in combination with that aquatic type of quality is really what defines this fragrance. It's also, of course, very fresh. It's aromatic, and it does have a bit of powderiness. Not a tiny bit, but it is definitely a powdery fragrance. I think that this is a fragrance that is perfect for just about any occasion during the summer season. This is one of the most versatile fragrances that I have in my collection. And I can tell you that this is also one that does get you a ton of compliments. It has a very, very strong projection during the first 2 hours, and it will get you a full day's wear without a problem. The next fragrance that I want to share with you is LAMAR from KAJAL. Now guys, this fragrance, oh my goodness. Let me know if you've ever gotten your nose on this fragrance because this one is just so special. I love, 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 love the note of pineapple in this fragrance. It is so intense and so real. It's like a very juicy type of pineapple. As to be expected, this fragrance is fruity and quite sweet. And it is a tad powdery, not necessarily at the dry down, but all throughout the journey. But although it has a very strong fruity presence, this fragrance at no point is cloying, and it also remains quite fresh. But it's not like one of those like male leaning fresh pineapple type of fragrances, if you know what I mean. No, this is definitely a fragrance that is very fruity, but is also very fresh, and it does have a tropical vibe to it. To add some depth and character, it is quite ambery, and it does have woody notes, but the woody notes are quite faint. This fragrance is all about the pineapple. What I love about this fragrance also is that it's quite versatile because I find that you can make it like a fun fragrance, or you can use it for a more formal type of event. This is a fragrance that will get you a ton of compliments, guys. I mean, it doesn't matter what you're doing or where you go. This is a high compliment getter. And it is a fragrance that without having to overspray will get you 8+ hours. The projection of this fragrance is also exceptional because it's going to get you anywhere between 2 to 3 hours with a strong projection, after which it does become a scent bubble. The sillage, of course, as to be expected because it is a high compliment getter, is pretty strong, and I find it to be around anywhere between 3 to 4 feet trailing behind you. All in all, guys, I think that this is a fragrance that you just cannot go wrong with. It smells absolutely exquisite, and the pineapple here, like I said before, is just so juicy and perfect. It's almost like you can imagine yourself biting into a very juicy, ripe pineapple during the summer season. The next fragrance that I want to share with you is one that I absolutely love to pull for the summer season because it has that very special note of mango that you know that I love. It also has an exquisitely done honey note, and together it's like you're getting like a honeyed mango type of effect. And I'm speaking about Unique Luxury Mangonificent. This is a very different kind of mango fragrance because, you know, I get from it like the skin of the mango in addition to like the very juicy and ripe pulp of the mango. Throughout the olfactory journey, there is a continuous exchange of those two types of quality, and I absolutely love it. About a couple of minutes into, like when you first spray it, you're going to start to pick up on that honey effect, but you never quite sniff the honey on its own. It's almost like they managed to give you a true taste of what a honeyed mango would be like. And you almost feel like you just want to be able to bite into a very juicy, ripe, honeyed mango. Although this fragrance does have a huge tropical vibe to it, and it is very, very fruity, and it is sweet, it is also very fresh. I don't know how they did it because this fragrance, it's not like super sweet, but it is definitely sweet, and the fruitiness is definitely there. But this fragrance is so fresh, even though it has all that tropical quality going. Then to add depth, it's like my favorite part because not only did they add woody notes, but there's also the note of patchouli. And the note of patchouli and the woody notes are always in the background, like from midway through the olfactory journey, all throughout your wear of the fragrance. So that alone makes this a very versatile fragrance that you can definitely dress down or dress up. You can use it for formal occasions, day or night. It's also a beast of a fragrance because this is a 10+ hour for sure. It has a very strong projection during the first 2 to 3 hours, mostly the first 3 hours, and it also has a sillage that will guarantee you compliments. This is such an incredible fragrance, guys, and if you're going on vacation, I think that this is perfect because again, it's a fragrance that you could use during the day for excursions or any activity that you're involved in, and then for more dressy type of occasions during the evening and the nighttime, it is perfection. And all throughout, you are going to get that summer vibe because it is a very tropical fragrance. This for sure, in like a sea of mango note fragrances that I have in my collection, is one of my favorites. Alright guys, so we've reached the end of today's video, and I hope I was able to give you a good group of options in case you're looking for a long-lasting fragrance for this summer season. Although I gave you some fruity fragrances, some floral, and even one with oud, I can tell you that the one thing I can assure you about these fragrances is that they are very long lasting. Please let me know in the comment section if you've tried any of these fragrances, and of course, as usual, I will have a link to where you can pick them up in the description box. As always, thanks so much for hanging with me today, and I will see you in the next video.